Hey, welcome back to the channel. Wow, what a struggle today. Today, tax day. And it was a very big challenge for me because I didn't stick to my rules very well. If it wasn't for the fact that I veered from my rules, I would have had a much easier day. Of course, the results turned out pretty good on the day, but I don't like seeing my average trade time being as high as 1 minute and my longest trade time being as long as 3 minutes and 25 seconds. That's a lot of time sweating when you're underwater. But because I didn't stick to my rules about catching bounces at very specific spots, I was forced to play fast and loose a bit with my stop losses, and I had to average into my trades a number of times, which I don't like. As you can see from the trade history, I was drawn down significantly on this trade, this trade, this trade, these trades. Anyway, it was all quite challenging, and it didn't need to be that way. That said, let's take a look at the charts. So I actually started the day taking a little trade just before the open of the market. I didn't realize that it was literally 10 seconds before the open. And I quickly jumped in right here, seeing that it was going to run up to this area that was going to end up being yesterday's VWAP close. And then when I realized that it was only 10 seconds from the open to the market, I quickly got out and I ended up making $100, which is fine. Then, instead of sticking with my bounce rules, I took a long entry here, and it worked out well for me. It was a market surge at that moment that I took advantage of. Thinking that the market was going to continue to surge up to this pivot point right here, I took a long right here and ended up having to dig myself out when it rolled down to here and rolled down to here. Had it come down any further, I could have posted a $500, $600, $700 loss. The exact same thing happened here, where I ended up having to average in a couple of times before it came down and bounced right here on this mid pivot point and intraday VWAP. The next trade was right here when I went long. For what reason, I don't have any idea. And again, I had to average in and average in until it came down to intraday VWAP where it bounced. And I probably got out about right here for maybe a couple $100. Then the market pulled the rug out from under everybody and started to very quickly come down. And this POC line of the day was not here at that moment. So it was coming down. And it was coming down, and I was eyeballing this VWAP line right here, noting that the 100 SMA was right here, and I thought that's a pretty good place for a long entry, especially in light of the fact that we had this basing candle right here, which does have a very large wick to it. But I just thought that this general area right here would be a good place to make an entry. And boy, did I pay for that quickly. I had to average in again when it quickly tumbled down to here. And then out of desperation, I added again right here, which brought my average to probably about right here. And I ended up doing pretty well on this particular candle. But this is not the way I like to do trading. My average trade time was 56 seconds, and my longest trade time was 3 minutes and 25 seconds. And of course, the day continued, and as I was watching, I did take more trades, but I also took note of other spots throughout the day, throwing my white arrows in on spots that made for good entries. And as you see, and this is just watching ES, I did watch NQ and actually took an NQ trade today. And of course, I always watch SPY, Qs, SPX and NDX and both VIXs. But if you look at the day, you can see that the market is bouncing on the areas where we expect it to bounce. And here I'm looking at the chart a little later, but I wanted to get back and specifically note those areas that I referred to. Again, this white line is the pre-market open, which is usually right by the gray dashed line or on top of the gray dashed line, which is previous day close for ES. And when the market ran up in the morning and slammed down, it was previous day close that it decided to stay above. And then, of course, we have my favorite bounces on intraday VWAP, reversals on intraday VWAP, or bounces on VWAP, or bounces on the RTH open or the previous day VWAP close, which is the thick white dashed line. The yellow dashed being the half gap, the perfect midpoint between the previous day close and the RTH open. And then we have the moving averages, the 100 EMA and SMA in green, the 200 EMA and SMA in orange. And then I put the 200 EMA and SMA from the 5-minute chart onto the 1-minute chart by setting the length to 1000. So anyway, I just wanted to bring a quick video for you to show you the results of today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please give me a like down below and subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to be notified when I come up with new videos. Okay, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.